Hello, Nick Ohana. It is February 22nd, 2025. This is Mirror Work Part 2. I got cut off by my alarm getting me ready for my upcoming breath. And then I thought, you know what? I'm going to take another half an hour to really dive into this, dive into work for myself. Again, not for you. This is for me, and prepare myself. I just reread Comfort versus Safety and the little write-up we had about it. So many of us are looking for being within our comfort zone versus actually realizing that we're safe and creating real safety, that foundation of knowingness, and from that safety. And there's some distinctions there because there's the idea that we're always safe. We're this eternal being that's always safe. And then there's that idea of some of us have really grown up in unsafe environments. Uncomfortable is the more esoteric way to see it, but unsafe. Where there's been abuse, where there's been violence, where there's been trauma, where there's been separation, all these things, abandonment. And then now stepping into, everyone who's here is probably an adult in some way or considered an adult by law over 18. And so then how do you actually step into this, and how do you start trusting yourself and creating the safety container around you that wants to be there, like even having a separate home, locks, things like that, but not getting stuck in the comfort of it. Oh my God, like I can never leave these walls because it's safe in here. Nowhere else is safe. Versus that's really just, I'm comfortable here. I don't want to try to find my comfort in other places, right? And then noticing we're always going to be stretching our comfort zones if we start moving through life. But where do we want to stretch our comfort zones? We don't have to stretch it into a place just to prove it. It's not for someone else to say I'm stretching it there. Where do you want to? Where do you want to stretch your comfort zones? Where do you want to create the safety? And sometimes it's even, I'm going to get a double lock in this door, right? That's a piece that's going to provide the safety so I can actually sleep well at night. And from there, what's going to happen? And that's part of it for the work that I keep doing is I keep coming back to how do I provide an experience for someone that feels so safe, held so safely that they can actually now feel safe enough to step into their discomfort, because there's so much discomfort that comes up. And then it's funny, I just came across an article again about, Gen Z. Oh my God, I'm not comfortable with that. Oh, don't you hate hearing that? And it's always funny to read these articles and see the almost blame game. Oh my God, can you believe they're doing that? And then B, if you're really getting into the wisdom, it's how is the next generation a reflection or a teacher for us? Because I could look going, I can't believe they're doing that. Or how am I creating this? Like right now, raising a child, I can see that. Sometimes I'm like, he's crying and screaming with me. I'm like, all right, I know you're safe. I know that you're not starving. I know that there's something that feels uncomfortable right now, probably something to do with fatigue, with temperature, with some hunger, with some emotions, and they're all coming together. And the piece that can get addressed is either the hunger, or the control, or something else like that. And how do I be with it? And how do I practice in your upsetness, not trying to get you to do anything else? And how do I also honor myself? And being like, if I say stop screaming, I'm saying stop screaming for me. Because on my side, it's challenging to be with this. It doesn't mean you should stop screaming for you. Scream may be the perfect thing for you. I'm asking for you to work with me here. And how is it that we're asking for the things too? Oh, could you please do this? Maybe it's too fucking gentle. It's like, this is the thing you do, right? How is it that we can be amazing managers and guides and work, and then we come home and we're pushovers in a way, and then anticipate or want a different response? And so that's part of me right now with my beloved is every time I notice the response of the trigger, the pattern repeating, is how do I step out of the same way? So even if in the middle of a ceremony, I'd be much more calm, gentle, understanding, it may be that in my other relationships, that's not actually serving me, because that's the familiar pattern, and it's breaking out of the pattern of familiar, of comfort, and saying, okay, what is it that's actually needed here right now? Where do we actually want to go? What's the relationship? What's the dynamic that I'm actually looking for? Because first me, first look at myself. Yeah, first own my own desires. I'm going to come up to the table and sit at the table now for a bit, just to keep changing things up. Oh, hello over here. Doop. There we go. Pulling the camera. Looking out and gazing and relaxing the muscles. Again, in the eyes, not trying to focus as much, having a little bit of softness there. Having a little bit of that hunting. Good Will Hunting. Really enjoyed that movie. Who do I actually want to be, even if I have the intelligence? Even if I can see things a different way, is that how I actually want to live life? Do I actually want to live your dreams? And noticing when someone else wants me to live their dreams versus actually live. Versus just live. Just live. Without all the accolades too. Because there is no accolade for that true love. To love and to be loved. That's part of what I realize I forget and I take for granted sometimes. I have love and I am loved. And what's beautiful about it is we're still developing. It's not a static thing. I'm noticing parts that are still coming up, the judgments in the background. It's uncomfortable sometimes being me and being with me. And I'm already looking towards what's next. What's next after this comfort versus safety? What is the theme that really wants to come alive? In the podcast day, what are the themes that want to come alive? Part of it, I want to bring it back to money. Part of it, I want to bring it back to this kind of backcountry enlightenment, optimization of life. What are the key things that he's learned? What are the key things? If you could really change someone's life, where would he want to change it? If he really changed his own family's lives. Let's be honest, they're probably not going to watch. And if they do, wouldn't it be great to give them a message anyway? And remind yourself, this is a message not that you're hoping to change them, but this is the thing that you've been wanting to say. And sometimes it's the wanting to say it that's been kept in there. That's kind of secret. And it's a direct and it's a challenging question. Only you can choose how to answer this. The CV, the resume that I know of you, right? I know some things. You've been the CEO of a company, a family company. This company has been sold and has created some level of financial wealth, enough that we actually live at this place in Whistler. Whistler's, not an inexpensive place to live. Let's just start there. We don't have to get into the specifics. And having done that and said that, you can recognize it too. Even I've had this relationship with you. It's like, oh, I want to get some support from your money. And imagining now who I am, how do I see myself with money? How would you describe that? And I'm going to invite you to be as clear as you can be first in seeing that. And owning it. It's not from a place of pride, but a place of reflection. And I'll speak this other piece too. It's like part of the reason I have a real appreciation and really listen to Alex Hormozi and Dr. John Demartini is because they've created at least $100 million for themselves. For me, it amplifies their voice. It shows that they have learned to play this game of life in a certain way. And I have a desire to play the game of life in a certain way. Because, and now I'm even more clear, with that level of financial wealth, what is the impact I can make, not just for the next year, not just for the next 10 years, but for the next 1,000 years. That the voice is impacted, that as I get clearer, the message that gets out there can actually resonate with more people. This is all roundabout. So this is me just rambling, getting it out there, because these are the questions I want to ask, but how do I frame the question to create enough safety for someone to speak their truth? And some of it is to remind myself, probably in the beginning, remind us in the beginning. Everything that we say can be taken out of context, sound bites. We have no idea of the impact we're going to have. That in some ways, and I'm going to practice this with you too, it's going to be like, what the fuck did he just say? Is he actually who I think he is? And part of it for me is continue to step into the authenticity of who I am right now. And who I am right now is the parts that I know how to reveal and the parts that are still working themselves out. There's clarity in here. There's so much more clarity. And there's the willingness to be with the lack of clarity as well and to keep noodling it. One of the things that's really good, I am founding a company right now with a couple of amazing souls, Matt and Marika, is that when we're on our meeting calls, I'm not trying to be perfect and be that leader that knows it all, and they know that already. Like, I'm going to say the thing of where I'm at, and then they can help me. In my old world would be like, pick it apart. Nick, you're so focused on sales, on money right now still. This is what we're actually trying to do, deliver value, show our mission, our vision, get curious, get people to resonate. It's like, thank you. I need that redirection sometimes because part of me feels like I'm failing the company because we're not creating the revenues we want right now yet, and money and the game, and then, okay. And then I've got a team that reminds me, oh yeah, the challenges keep changing and I want them to keep changing. So right now, today, part of our practice is letting go of the facades, right? Owning who I am right now. I'm going to own who I am. I'm going to invite you to own who you are. And I may not speak to it as directly, or I may speak to it more directly than you like. It'll either be one or the other. I won't hit it right on. You get to choose how much you want to reveal, how much you want to share. And you can get upset at me for revealing some things. I'm going to practice dialing that back because I want to invite you to be the one to reveal. And be as direct as you can. Notice you've had, like, of many of the people I know, this man in front of me, Brent, has gotten more training. I knew him 6 years ago. 6 years ago now, 2019, no, 5 years ago. 5 years ago now. Didn't know I was pregnant then. And you're welcome to throw things back as well. If we take less than 5 hours for this, or less than the time it takes for this phone to record, fantastic. If we have an intermission, fantastic. It's okay. And having pauses. Tell us more about this. What am I really curious about for Brent? What am I really curious about? Building him up first. A lot of successes, a lot of ways that people look at and say, I'm jealous of this. What are you most proud of right now? Who are you? What are the stories that you want to highlight? A lot of near-death experiences. What is a story you want to highlight? A lot of times that you've both been led and led. What is a story you want to highlight? Technological advances. What is a story you want to highlight? What is a story you want to highlight? energy. All right. There'll be time to do more preparation work. I may even talk to myself during the drive up. I'm reminding myself that's the point of this, is to keep noticing, noticing, noticing. And let go of doing it right. I might go up and do a little hape first, just to clear myself before the breath. I think that might actually be really helpful. Love, love, love. Ciao for now.